Hello, my name's Alex. This is my first YouTube video attempt at starting a channel. I'm calling it 50 and Over It. I just turned 50 years old. For some, maybe I'm a few years late on the midlife crisis. I don't know if it's actually a crisis or not. I've definitely been going through a lot the last few years, and I think I'm gonna blog about it, and maybe resonate and connect with some folks out there. First, I thought I'd start it off with the thing I'm most proud of, being 50 years old, and the thing I'm absolutely most proud of that I've done in the last few years for myself, is I have stopped smoking cigarettes. I am a 30-year smoker, 30 years strong. I loved them. I loved them. I love them. I love them. I miss them. I still miss them. It's been 15 months now, almost 16 months. And I gotta say, I'm shocked and surprised and like super proud that I managed to beat this one. If you're out there and you're still smoking, no shame. I feel you. 30 years, dude. I get it. It was a huge part of my personality. I quit. I made quitting attempts like so many times. I've tried everything. I did cold turkey a bunch of times. Usually made it a couple days and just got too irritable to even deal with life. Right? I tried hypnosis a couple times. I've done the patch. I've done the gum. I did Chantix and ended up having kind of a bad experience on that. I won't go into too much detail. And I'm not so much blaming the drug as I'm blaming the fact that I didn't follow the directions. Like I continued to drink alcohol while I was taking the Chantix, and I think I took it for too long. So inevitably, I think that put me in a bad situation with that, wherein I had a few bad anxiety experiences. But eventually, I just got to a point where I needed to make that change. I needed to stop. I needed to stop spending $15 a day on a habit that was slowly killing me. There's every reason in the world not to do it. Obviously, whether you're a boomer, Gen Xer, a millennial, like even younger smokers, even though I don't see as many younger smokers out here these days. But whether, maybe it's vaping for you, maybe it's popping Zins or chewing tobacco or whatever it is, nicotine is such a powerful drug. If you're attempting to get off of it, I salute you. And I'm just here to maybe give you a couple tips on things that worked for me. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a therapist. I'm not licensed in any way. Just the precursor here. I'm just a guy who smoked for 30 years and thought a lot of times I thought I would never ever be able to stop. So a couple things that really helped. I'm going to talk about two concepts here. Concept number one is really reaching out and connecting with others who are going through the same thing, and YouTube is actually an amazing resource for that. I found a bunch of videos dealing with strategies and ideas around quitting, or choosing a non-smoking life, and with a lot of other self-help or human change principles. Like if you don't have someone in your life going through the same thing, you can find someone on the internet, on YouTube, who's going through something similar. So I found that really useful. And a couple of the ideas that aren't mine, but something that really resonated with me, and even for 30 years I never thought about this. This idea being that cigarettes, the only stress, anxiety, or depression that cigarettes ever cured was the anxiety, the stress, or the depression of not having nicotine in your system every half hour. I look back and I think about all the stressful times I've ever had, or all the anxious times I've ever had in my life, or all the down times I've ever had in my life, and thinking about cigarettes being there for me. They were a friend. They were there to like help give me a break, help give me some peace, or some kind of like escape from what I was going through. And I would associate this idea of relief, that like if I had the cigarette, I would be relieved of whatever was going on. But the actual truth is, the only thing that ever relieved me from was the stress of not having nicotine in my body. And that's by design. And even though I knew that for so many years, I didn't know that part, like, if that makes sense. Like, I know that cigarettes are designed by tobacco companies to take your money, and they don't really care about your health. That's well established. But what I didn't understand was that I made associations that weren't really there, because I'd had instances of anxiety or depression or stress all my life before I ever picked up a cigarette. And ever since I've quit cigarettes, I've realized that, like, yeah, I still have episodes of anxiety or stress or depression without them, but I also experience those same things with them. Cigarettes never solved any problems of mine. They just added problems, really, to the point that it was draining a bank account, or if you're borrowed money to like buy some cigarettes, or like sold. My thing in college, I remember I used to sell my CDs to like buy cigarettes, which is crazy because I was super into music, and I used to have like a really healthy collection. I was a music collector, but I noticed that like when I picked up smoking, all of a sudden I no longer bought a lot of music, or I ended up like selling a bunch of music. So just like memories like that, or having bronchitis, or having a snoring issue, or all the things that I no longer deal with now. So that's concept number one that I really wanted to put out there, was that we make associations with these habits that we are not going to be able to function without them, but that's not the truth. And when you really accept that, then I think you're ready to like start talking about strategies. And so number one strategy that I found that was useful on the long-term basis was switching cigarette brands, right? So if you're a Marlboro smoker, or a Camel, or if you're smoking a brand that's got like other chemicals in there besides the tobacco, maybe you want to think about switching to an American Spirit or a Winston, like cigarettes that don't have added chemicals that make them burn faster. They are more expensive sometimes, but like, it might be worth it because they burn slower, and you're going to have a different smoking experience. But maybe like some of those other chemicals, you're going to wean off those first before you like get to the nicotine part. And maybe it's, I smoked spirits for years. But I think that was more helpful. When I was smoking the other cigarettes and I tried to quit, like, it didn't seem like I made it very long, very often. Another idea that maybe you want to think about is setting a date. Is a good plan. I waited for the day after a friend of mine's wedding, because a lot of my friends that were going to be at this wedding were smokers, and they were my friends that we used to like drink and smoke together, and so I knew that was going to be like a really challenging time, and I was ready to quit before that, but I waited until that wedding was over, and the next day was like my last cigarette day. A huge idea that maybe might be of use is this idea that I changed a lot of things about my health before I even approached cigarettes. For example, in 2020, I weighed 60 pounds. I was 60 pounds heavier, and I went through a weight loss journey, which I might talk about in another video. And then, so I got into a fitness habit that I've kept to this day. Then I quit drinking about 2 years ago. Choosing a sober lifestyle has been really beneficial as far as not being tempted to smoke, because I had that base of sobriety that, I wouldn't be tempted if I was kind of feeling good one night, but more so to the point, I think practicing making other changes in your life, whether that's, getting a new degree or picking up a hobby or changing something that you've been wanting to change, whether that's giving something up or taking something up. I think building that slowly, building that habit, becoming someone who is who's really capable of making a change, is going to be like this layer, this primer of I think strength that you can draw from, this like proof to yourself really that you have the ability to slowly, incrementally build up a tolerance or build up a practice or build up a strength. And it's change is a practice, you're not going to go from 0 to 20 cigarettes a day to 0 cigarettes a day without like some upheaval. It's a big deal. And unless you're just one of those lucky people that can have a few whenever and just leave it alone the rest of the time, I was never built that way. I was always jealous of people who could do that. But what I found was that I had this bank of like pride from sticking to an exercise regimen to sticking to a healthier diet, to not drinking in order to like be social. I found that I was really able to like draw on that experience and that knowledge of knowing that like, okay, I am capable of like making a positive change for myself. So I think that was super huge. And then my final strategy tip was I made an agreement with myself that I will be, for lack of a better term, a jerk for up to a year. My first year of being smoke-free, if I don't feel like returning a phone call, I'm not going to do it, and I'm not going to feel too bad about it. If I want to sleep in, I'm going to sleep in. If I'm going to skip work a day or two, I'll skip work if I need to, mental health day, etc. I expected that I would gain some weight, which I was nervous about because I'd done all this work to lose weight. The last thing I wanted to do was completely like revert back and go all the way back to where I was, because that was not healthy. But I ate a lot of donuts. I ate some candy. For a couple months, I just ate whatever, and I did gain like 20 pounds. But what I was able to draw on was the knowledge that I knew how to lose that weight. So I allowed myself, I gave myself that peace, that patience. I gave myself that leeway to do what I felt like doing. If I wanted to watch 3 movies in a row, I would do it, So I kind of allowed myself that, as long as I could pay the bills and feed my dad, who's elderly, and I'm his caretaker. As long as I got those main things done, I was in the middle of writing a book, and I took a break from it because I didn't want to put pressure on myself. And I kind of stayed low key, and I managed. I made it a year, and now it got easier. It got a lot easier, and I lost that 20 pounds, and I feel amazing. And I don't snore anymore. I sleep better than I've ever slept. I still have stresses and anxieties like anyone else, but like now I breathe deep. I go for walks. I drink some water. Basically, I hang on to this notion that like those cigarettes were just something that got in the way. So if you're out there, you're planning on quitting, you're trying to quit, keep at it. I'm proud of you. I believe in you. We can definitely change. And if this resonated with you, please like, subscribe, all that good stuff, share, and I'll see you in the next one.